Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Discover the Hidden Causes of Illness Through Cellular Resonance Quantum Healing. Break the energetic chains binding you to old wounds and reclaim your mind, body, soul power. My name is Stephen Dyna. I'm the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm always delighted to be with you here, getting to discover new horizons of healing. And we're going to get to explore those with a true pioneer. I think you're going to be really excited about what he has to share today. His name is Dr. Doug Lehrer. He's the founder and developer of Cellular Resonance Quantum Healing and has really been at the forefront of the mind, body, spirit shifts that can really free us from patterns of the past. So, Dr. Doug, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure, Stephen. Thank you.
Great. Well, we're going to dive in. I know you've got a lot that you want to share today. And I also want to let everyone know right up front that we are going to have a brand new program with Dr. Doug called Cellular Resonance Quantum Healing. So if you want to go further with this method that you're going to get introduced to today, have a great opportunity to do so soon. And we'll share a little bit more about that at the end of the hour. So, Dr. Doug, let's talk a little bit about, first of all, your backstory. I think it's always interesting to have a pioneering thought leader and understand where they're coming from in terms of creating a novel methodology. So, maybe share a little bit what led you to cellular resonance quantum healing.
Yes, thank you. There have been many roads that led to these discoveries and what I do. Uh, Probably the most profound one that I share is that, I was in chiropractic college. Uh, each day I was getting sicker and sicker. I was finding myself very tired in the afternoons, passing out, needing sleep, sometimes even driving my car, I would pass out. I did blood tests. They said they were normal. How many have heard that? But something's going on. I knew something was wrong, but no answers. Uh, I separated my shoulder, hitting a wall playing racquetball. So I had that injury that wasn't healing. I had started to get some ulcers and irritable bowel type symptoms as well. Again, uh, that was going, and then it culminated by two herniated discs in my low back by the end of chiropractic college. And the pain was excruciating. So I basically barely could walk up to get my diploma. And within a few months, I was praying to die because the pain was so great. Every movement I made was like, someone just turned up an electrical shock in your body, but of pain. Went down my legs and my back, sciatica, and it was horrible. I had gone in that period of time to all sorts of doctors from various professionals in the medical field, rheumatologists, neurologists, orthopedists. Even my orthopedist was top guy in Beverly Hills. Appreciate him. He said, don't do surgery. If you had to be screaming before we even think about that. And I said, no, I'm not thinking about that at all. I've already seen what you guys do in clinic because the people who came to the chiropractic clinic for $15 a chiropractic adjustment, oftentimes they were low back surgery people that just never recovered. And so I knew already that that was not a good thing. And I prayed to die. I figured that was about the best thing at the time. Then I went to another chiropractor who happened to be my mentor in cranial work, taught me cranial bloodless surgery, a lot of cool stuff that a lot of chiropractors don't do, but a certain amount do. And as he worked on me, he looked at me and said, Doug, you're going to figure out how to heal yourself. And my ears kind of popped open. You got to be kidding. Really? Yeah, you're going to help millions of people. And that really blew my mind. But what it did was it made me pray for something different. Okay. And then I got a little arrogant. My ego was pretty arrogant at the time. And I said, all right, God, show me how to heal my body. I didn't do this in his office. I did this driving my car through the redwoods one day after listening to a Wayne Dyer tape. I started crying. I was really into my emotions. This is very important. I was really like feeling me, feeling all my pain physically, mentally, emotionally, feeling that. In the book that I'm writing, I have a chapter called Feel It to really connect to that. And in that moment, I said, God, show me how to heal myself. And to my huge surprise, I heard a voice speak to me and said the answer was in my mail. Now I was depressed as well, so my wife wouldn't said, I'm tired of all this mail stacking up in the in the dining room. I put it in my car. So I just reached into this pile of mail when I heard the answer was there. First, I looked on my back seat to make sure there wasn't a homeless person sleeping back there answering me, but there was no one there. And I pulled it out, and it was this energy medicine seminar. It was that weekend, and it was only a few hours drive away. And so I registered for it. I walked in there with dragging my leg in pain as my right leg was really weak. I had a cane, my 92-year-old grandfather's cane, and I was a little late in traffic. And just then, this mentor said, I need a volunteer. And I was standing in the center aisle, and I just kept on walking because I was determined. God told me to come here to get healed. I'm getting healed. I just walked up, I laid on his table, and he's kind of gave me a look because he didn't pick me. I picked me. This is important. You got to pick yourself. And he worked on me for about 10 minutes, maybe. And he said, go walk. And he just did a couple little things on me, and I walked with no pain down my leg, full strength in my leg, no cane needed. In fact, he said, go walk. And when I went to grab the cane, he said, now leave that there. And as I was walking and not feeling the pain in my leg and feeling the strength and normal walking, I knew in my heart there was just a message I got again from God. You're going to be the best in the world at this. And with that in mind, I started my practice, and I went right to energy medicine rather than doing all that adjusting chiropractic looking thing. And opened a pain clinic, of course, and I called it the Pain and Stress Relief Center in Santa Rosa, California. And I saw thousands and thousands of people with all kinds of pain conditions, and was able to get them well where they weren't getting better anywhere else. And then I noticed things happening. I'd look at my patients, a month or two into care, and I go, you look different. What's different about you? Oh, I was depressed, and now I'm not depressed anymore, Dr. Lehrer. Wow. How about you? You look different. Oh, I lost 30 pounds. I said, how did you do that? Oh, when you worked on me, whatever you did, the weight just came off. And so all these other things were happening because we were treating the cause of their problems, not the symptoms. And
What a
there you go.
amazing story. Yeah, amazing backstory, and to get those direct messages and have it fulfilled like that. Well, let's talk a little bit about that innovation, like looking at the upstream cause. So often we are plagued by or bothered by the symptoms of things, but how do you sort of trace back to what is the true upstream cause of different challenges we have on a physical or emotional level?
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you just said it here. I'll make a few quotes. Dr. Herbert Benson, who's the founder and director of the Mind Body Institute of Harvard University, said way back in the 80s, after these monks insisting that he measure them and see that they could control their bodily functions with their thoughts, with their mind, with something even deeper, their heart. And he wouldn't do it for a few years. When he finally did it, he saw, wow, the mind really has that effect. And it was the first Mind Body Institute. But he published this as one of his main quotes, which is, he said, we must acknowledge that the etiology of disease, all disease, is stress. Since then, journal after journal in even the medical realm says 80 to 90% of all health conditions that you have is stress causation, stress related. And then, of course, the other ones are iatrogenic illness, which means medically induced. And but we have to really look at that. So what I do is I find the stress that's controlling the body and that person's thought process. And that's what cellular resonance does. So we have a lot of different programming in us for causation. So we have to identify the specific ones and also the other ones around it that block us from even getting to that cause. And I figured these things out over the last almost 40 years of practice, close to 500,000 healing sessions with people. And that's the first step, to just acknowledge, okay, it's a stress in my life or multiple stresses. And those stresses may stretch beyond this life. They may be karmic. They may be, meaning we brought them into this life. They may be epigenetic, meaning the energetic thought fields of mom and dad, primarily mom, because we're of the mother in the mother's womb, and we're of the grandmother because we were an egg inside our mother inside our grandmother. So her thoughts and feelings influence us. No wonder there's some biblical even references to that things pass from one generation to the next. And that's generational. And then we have that thought field, epigenetic. So when we're 0 in the womb to 7 years old, we're under the influence of our mother's thoughts. Then they just continue to run, because our brain and nervous system control our body. This is really important to realize. Our brain and nervous system tells our body what to do. Tells us to digest our food, tells us to, go to the bathroom, all those things. There's this management system that we have in the brain. But there's something that controls 99% of the functions of the brain. And this is right in the medical physiology books. That's the subconscious memory. We call it the subconscious mind, but it's a memory. And most of what we think and feel, they're just loops. And we have those memories that play. And we have some good memories, joyful experiences. We start talking about that camping trip and how fun it was and all the things we did with our family. Wonderful. And then we have these other recordings of the not so good things. I call them the good, the bad, and the ugly tapes and the loops. And so we need to find those loops, those recordings, and delete them, and then reconnect to our true healing source, which I'll answer in another question.
It's really fascinating. I love the methodology in that you also take it to an ancestral and epigenetic and even karmic level. So you're kind of implying that there's a sort of a primary root source and then there's secondary sources. So how do you differentiate when you sort of, maybe if you're digging in this lifetime, you find something in childhood, but there might go further back. When do you get to the primary cause?
Yeah, it's funny. We want to think that there's just one primary cause, right? The mind wants, the primary cause. But what if there's 10 primary causes?
Mm-hmm.
We don't realize that there's paradox going on. Many things can be happening that's blocking each other. What we must do is do it in the right order. And that's called priority healing. And I don't see this happen anywhere in medicine, let alone alternative and holistic medicine, because they're looking for a holistic way to treat a problem rather than let's find a holistic way to find the priority cause, like the first thing. Let's say you want to go to, make a sandwich in your kitchen, right? But you're outside in the garden and you're hungry. Well, first you have to go in through the back door to the mud room, take off your shoes, then go through that laundry room there, and maybe it goes through another room, and then it goes another hallway, and then we finally get to the kitchen. Then we have to go to the refrigerator and open up and get in there. There's a pathway to make a sandwich. There's a pathway to heal your body. First, we need to get into the program, get into the house, or the house of your body. What's the first room that you enter? What's the first stressor that's blocking you from getting to make that sandwich, right? We have to go there first. And so, in fact, on this program, I'm going to go to one of those things and work with everyone in a remote group healing. And we're going to address a couple of those things that are block us getting to that thing that we ultimately is the stress that happened that set this dis-ease in motion. But we have to unblock a few other things, and they're also related to this. So kind of like all roads lead to Rome, all spokes of the wheel lead to the center of the disease problem. Does that make sense? And
Hmm.
so each person, now sometimes in the first session with somebody, boom, that one spoke unlocks it. I've had people in 10, 15 minutes, they come with fibromyalgia, incurable illness by medicine. And in 10, 15 minutes, I've had people go right into the primary direct cause of that. We didn't have any other blockage to go through to get there. And boom, literally they got off the table, no pain. They lit up the depression, the low energy, all those symptoms. They suddenly were like, oh my God. And then for the majority, it was, 8, 10, 20 little short 7, 8 minute, 10-minute sessions that unlocked it a step at a time to get to, no pain, no depression, no, getting the body to heal all those symptoms. So everyone has their own journey. And I might, at this point, really say something that's in my book. And I tell patients, the true path to all healing is a transformational journey from fear to love, from the cells to the soul. We're spiritual beings undergoing a physical human experience. We need to look at the whole person, body, mind, soul, and spirit, our emotions, our thoughts, our feelings that make us who we are, not treat an illness. That's where medicine went wrong. They tried to cure illness. There are no cures. There's only a natural healing process. The brain either does survival mode, fighting bears and tigers, which stresses our systems and short circuits organs, glands, neural pathways, hormonal pathways, interferes with every function of the body, or at least what's interfering with whatever's going on with you, our audience. At the same time, there's a healing system, but we're not going to access that healing system as long as our brain and nervous system and our subconscious memory is saying, we got to deal with that bear. We need to deal with that abuse from the past. We need to deal with that teacher that embarrassed us in front of our classmates, or father abandoning us and having to, mom work full time and not see her and not feel nurtured. Whatever our story is, we all have that story. And that's something I take people through very quickly to really get to the root of it, and then to take it apart at the cellular, subconscious, unconscious, superconscious, conscious, and soul levels that's necessary to activate the full healing of a human being.
Hmm. Well, we certainly deeply aligned with the overall philosophy and the worldview behind what you're doing. And I'd love to dive a little bit more into the process of that sort of peeling back and finding what is at the core, what's the source of things. Like, how do you go about that?
Well, in cellular resonance technique, uh, I teach it to practitioners hands-on. Once they understand how to do it hands-on, because I started as a hands-on healer, chiropractic, right? So what do we do to touch the body? Where can we touch the right places in the right way that's going to get the body to make the change? We have to get the body to make the change. We don't make the change for them. We have to help the body do it, because once you leave the office, it needs to continue to heal. So we need to be able to turn on those healing switches, so to speak, turn off the survival ones that are unnecessary, actually deleting the survival ones that aren't necessary, because there's nothing that happened in the past negative that's really supporting us in a positive way. It's just keeping us in survival mode and expecting, the other shoe to drop, so to speak, or another attack to occur. But we're sending those messages out for those things to happen. So if we stop sending those messages, then we really don't need to worry about the other shoe dropping, because we don't have the program that would drop the shoe.
Hmm.
Got it? Just
Yeah.
take a deep breath in and just take that in. Yeah. So I test the body. It looks like muscle testing, but it's really not. I'm putting inputs into the brain through the arms and legs, because these are extenders of the brain, because these are what fight and the legs are what run. So those are connected right into the brain, and the brain goes, oh, there's a danger, fight or run. So from the bear or tiger or next door neighbor's dog. For me, I was scared to death of dogs as a kid. So it didn't matter how small the dog was. I was just terrified, because I got attacked by a dog when I was 1.5 years old. So my mind would be terrified of dogs. Keep that in mind. Your fears, a lot of them are precognitive. I mean, I didn't even remember being attacked by the dog. I was 1.5 years old. Don't remember it all. Still today, I don't remember it.
Hmm.
But I have cleared it because my body remembers it. My subconscious remembers it.
Hmm. So that's really the key is so many of the memories that are driving the core patterns are just in the subconscious field. And so until we're able to tunnel in back to them, we're not going to actually experience the healing.
Exactly. Exactly. We need to bring up the stress to the screen, even if we don't know what it is. And that's what cellular resonance does. It pulls up 95% of the things I pull up, people don't even remember. And and that's okay because it's up on the screen. The subconscious knows. I get the subconscious to reveal what it is when the conscious mind may still have no idea, but that's what we're being run by. I do it in seconds. I'm able to tap in and find the frequency of energy. Remember, we're all these different dimensionalities and realities and energies that make us up. And so I find the frequency of energy that's going to cancel out that message and delete it from the computer. It kind of works. The computer is designed after our own brains. So we have a little delete button on our computer. So does our body. But we have to, if we're going to delete a file, what do we need to do? We need to find the file first in the computer, bring it up to the screen, and then delete it.
Hmm.
And then when we do that, there is a reprocessing that takes place in our computer in nanoseconds. Our
Hmm.
body, mind, soul does the same thing. By the way, when you delete a stress, a trauma, a feeling, a fear, it has to get deleted from the whole being, from the cellular memory, subconscious, unconscious memory, and from the field memory, because we were built by this field. This is known in science. In fact, the medicine, they call it the morphogenic field. And it has the template, the blueprint for your eyes, ears, nose, color of your eyes, the way you look, all that stuff. It's all there. So it knows how to build and rebuild you. But through life, imagine, like holes, poke all these holes poked in here, and we're leaking all our energy, and we're getting, more old and less and not feeling as good because all those stresses are poked all over our field and interfering with the normal natural information, our blueprint that actually uh, rebuilds our body, restores our body. So we need to get that blueprint clear. So the stress needs to be cleared from all those levels.
Hmm.
And that's what I do with people. They won't see it because you asked about a process. They won't necessarily see it because what I do is I'm a soul whisperer, a body whisperer. I'm able to communicate with the field. I can communicate with your field right here if we wanted to, and see what is the priority stress that's running you, because I know how to talk to the field and receive the answers as a healing facilitator. And this is what I teach others to do. We all have this capacity. Some people have uh, a greater ability to do that because that's part of their genome, so to speak. They're a healer archetype, a healer in their lives, where other people do something else as their primary mission and ways to go. But each person is the healer for themselves, ultimately. And this is really important. We have to be able to turn on your own inner healer to heal by the resolution of these stress patterns. And again, uh, I find that the ones that bring into this life, or the generational, we actually have those in our field. They go out there somewhat. I'm sure everyone's familiar with that law of attraction, and those things go out there, and then they attract back those same kind of traumas. So we end up having uh, similar traumas to our family. Uh, I find this story kind of an interesting one. I had a mother of two young daughters come to see me, and the thing that was causing her problems, we cleared them. And then she said to me, my mother, she had me when she was 14 years old, obviously not married. She said, I had my first daughter when I was 14 years old. Now I have a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old daughter. Can we break this pattern? So she brought the girls to me to undo the pattern. I undid it in the 12-year-old. The 14-year-old, I was working on her, and as I'm working with her body, she's already pregnant.
Oh my goodness.
Not in my office, but she came in. So this pattern came down there. I mean, it was like she was pre-programmed to have sex and get pregnant at 14. All
Jeez.
these, I didn't even ask about the fourth and the fifth generations. There it was in 3 generations right there. So we have things that happen to us that seem that look beyond our control. It's good to get ahead of those things, as I say. The younger you are, and to be worked on. But we're all where we are. We're all where we're at. But we start clearing those, it changes the trajectory for our life and where it goes. So we don't have to live the life of our family. And some of us, it looks very different on the outside, but emotionally or relationally, and the ups and downs, and that can be and very similar to those patterns, even though our life may look different. And then sometimes it looks exactly, somewhat the same when we have, as we go, just like, pregnant at 14, pregnant at 14, pregnant at 14.
Powerful story, and I really appreciate your perspective and how holistic this approach is. So, I think now would be a great time to actually lead everyone, not just me, in experiential to sort of really get a taste of how this method works for them.
All right, perfect. Great. All right, so what I'd like to do, and you should be sitting away from all electronics and things. So you're not doing anything in a quiet space when we do this. So there's no interruptions. And of course, you can always listen to it again and again, which I would recommend because it will take you deeper each time. What we're going to do is this. What I've discovered when working with thousands of people is the vast majority, in the high 90 percentile, don't recognize their bodies. There's a disconnection between the body, the mind, and the soul body. Now, the soul body is your healing source of energy. That needs to be connected in and through your body. And if it's not, then how are you going to actually turn on these healing systems? Very important. So what I want to do with the audience is help you process some stress. And everyone has different patterns, but we're going to look at the group field and work through the group field of everyone who's on this call and who will join this call. And ultimately, we're working on humanity. It's very important to realize we're individuated souls from the one soul. So there's one soul of humanity, and then the individuated souls. I'm going to go up as the healer level that I am to the soul that you are. We're going to connect there, and then we're going to send a healing wave of unconditional love, the healing force, even the force that one of the most famous scientists of all time said, which was Albert Einstein before his death in 1955. One day science and humanity will realize that the all-binding force of the universe, the thing that makes everything in order in this absolute flow, is love. So I'll be working with this frequency. I may say some other words that vibrate alongside this frequency of love. I use the universal pulse of creation to help change these things. It's a pulse that's everywhere. So what we might want to do is, perhaps we should show everyone the pulse first, Stephen.
Sure.
All
Whatever
right.
you feel.
So let's do that. I'm leading everyone into a unity consciousness as I'm speaking here, so that we're all together. But if you take your hands and snap them about 5 times, pretty hard, so they kind of burn. You have to get that little tingly, right? And then what I want everyone to do is you can put your hands on your knees, or on your legs, face up, as you're sitting there. And I want you just to feel this pulse of creation. I want you to see how we're all interconnected and how there is a healing force in the universe. It's in science called the universal pulse of creation. I like to call it the God pulse or the pulse of the soul, all the same. And now, feel the pulse now. Now, feel the pulse now. Now, now, in your hands. Now, now, now. Feel that, Stephen?
Yeah.
Now, everyone's feeling it at the same time because the pulse is consistent all the time, everywhere, all the time, even if you're listening to the recording. So cool. All right. Remember, science is just trying to discover how God works, how creation works, how everything works. Everything that is healthy is in union and in harmony with the pulse of creation. When we get out of this pulse is when we have dis-ease, when we have problems, because we're not in the flow of the divine power that made us, that's perfect. When we're in that flow, we heal, we transform, we become aware, we end up having joy and love and all those high vibrational feelings that we tend to try to get, but they're of us. We just need to reconnect to them and dissolve the lower vibrations so we're not stuck in a constant state of fear, anger, resentment, grudge, shame, guilt, remorse running us. So I'm going to have everyone now take a deep breath in. Oh, good. And say out loud, I recognize my body. I recognize my body. And take a deep breath in and hold your breath with your eyes open, looking downward with just the eyes, not your head, and thinking in your mind, in your heart, I recognize my body. I recognize my body, just saying it internally. I recognize my body as you hold your breath as long as you can. And if you have to take another breath, do that. I realize everyone has a different level of holding. And there you go. And now breathe. And again, say out loud, I recognize my body. Take a deep breath in. Close your eyes and look down. Feeling that body, being in your body, saying, I recognize my body. I recognize my body. So often we want to disassociate with our bodies just because we don't like it. We don't like what it looks like, what it feels like, or what somebody might do to it. I recognize my body. And breathe. Good. Again, everyone, I recognize my body. But there's multiple places that I see everyone stuck in. Breath in, hold your breath and look down, eyes open. Take a deep breath in, thinking in your mind, I recognize my body. I recognize my body. And as you think, I recognize my body, I also want you to think of the word happiness. I recognize my body. Happiness. 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 And breathe. Good. I recognize my body. Again, breathe. Sorry. Say again out loud, I recognize my body. And just notice how you feel a little differently in your body. What's different? One little thing. What's different? Because if we don't recognize our body, how are we going to individually heal the individual diseases, pain, depression, anxiety, whatever's going on physically, mentally, emotionally? Because we need to embody all that we are here. inside us because we're here in the physical material world. Our number one manifestation is our body. Why is everyone going, I'm going to manifest all this stuff? No, you manifest it in and through the body. The secret to manifestation I haven't seen in any course out there. We have to connect here and more, even though this is the first step. There's many others after it, but this is the first step. Now what I'd like everyone to do is say these words. Ready? It's totally safe, right, and good for me to be in this body. It's totally safe, right, and good for me to be in my body. And take a deep breath in and hold your breath and really feel this, that it's totally safe, right, and good to be in your body, to be in my body. It's totally safe, right, and good for me to be in my body. Yeah. And breathe. There you go. And breathe. It's totally safe, right, and good. Take a deep breath in again, close your eyes and look downward, thinking those same words. It's totally safe, right, and good for me to be and live in my body. And again, thinking of the word happiness. Happiness in your body. Feeling happiness. Happiness in your body. It's totally safe, right, and good for me to be in my body. Happiness. Happiness. And it's okay what you're feeling. If you're crying or laughing, feeling whatever you're feeling. You might even felt some physical pain come up in the process. Perfect. This, if you think about it and it causes you a pain, causes you to feel your stomach to gurgle, you're just seeing how deprogramming is awakening your body to begin its own innate healing process. And breathe. Take a deep breath in again, saying in your mind and your heart, I recognize it's totally safe, right, and good for me to be in my body. I recognize and realize it is totally and completely safe and right and good for me to be in my body, to live in my body, be happy in and with my body. You know? As long as we hate or despise our body, how are we going to heal? We must change our mind on all levels. And breathe. Good. Again, say out loud, it's totally safe, right, and good for me to be in my body, feeling your body right here. Good. Excellent. Excellent. So just notate the changes that are already happening. Healing happens instantaneously and over time. I'll say it again. Healing occurs instantaneously and over time, both. So there's an instant change in physiology, but then it may take a minute, 10 minutes, an hour, a day, a week, or 2 or 3, whatever that healing cycle is necessary for the body to start taking charge. And it's important not to interfere with that. Focus on that this week. Focus on happiness in every cell of your body. And it will have a positive effect on healing and changing your life. So that's the first 2 right there, Stephen.
Great. Well, thank you for that. Is it important, sort of in the deeper level of the practice, that you first kind of do the work of identifying causation, or is it just that by itself is enough to start to rewire the patterns?
Yeah, as I said, I do priority healing. So if recognizing your body and recognizing that it's safe, right, and good to be in your body is the number one priority, as it is in a lot of people, then that will start the healing process for those listening here. If there's something else blocking before that, then this isn't quite in priority yet. Does that make sense? There might be something before that. But for the majority of people, this is a very common one. And that's why I was doing it with our listeners or with our viewers today, because there's a good chance, greater than 50% chance that this is the priority for those listening right now. And I'm good with half the audience or more going, I feel a little different. That made me cry. I connected to a deep pain within myself. If you were crying and you did feel that emotional pain, maybe some physical pain, perfect. It's perfect. You're getting closer to cause. You're getting closer to discovering what's running you, hurting you, harming you, and already on the path to healing it. Already. And
Beautiful.
yeah.
I know you've referenced some of the science behind this throughout the call. I think it might be useful to have a little bit deeper dive into the quantum physics and how this is actually related to our emerging understanding of physics and interconnection.
Yeah, absolutely. Great question, Stephen. First, as I mentioned along the way, our cells are run on energy. In fact, it's interesting that we call them cells. What do we call the battery in our phone? A cell battery, right? Cell that has a positive and negative charge on it. All of our cells have these electrical charges on them, and it's this cellular energy that runs our body. Even scientists like Dr. Bruce Lipton said that cell polarity is like one of the most important things in healing. We have to reboot the energy system. That's what I'm doing with this work, because the universal pulse of creation running through you reboots and resynchronizes your cell and your energy. So that's our main source of energy. So we have to pay attention to the source. And as Einstein said, everything is energy. But what runs the quality of the energy is consciousness. And these are all quantum level things. Now, what do we mean by quantum? Because people always ask me, what do you mean by quantum healing, quantum this? If it's truly, a lot of people use it incorrectly. But when we use it correctly, quantum is, we realize that we're these physical beings. Our cells are made of molecules. Those molecules are made of atoms. Atoms are made of electrons, protons, and neutrons with empty space inside it. The first person who kind of made that popular, that concept to the world, was like over 30 years ago. And we all know Deepak Chopra's name. He put that in one of his first books, I believe, in the one that was called Quantum Healing, as a matter of fact. And so we have all this empty space. So for all this empty space, and then we're just electrons, neutrons, and protons, these little electrical charges, and neutrons, forgot those. Protons, neutrons. But when we look at those and look at the smaller parts of that, they have all these names for them until we get to quirks and quarks. And then as we get smaller and smaller, quantum means super small, by the way. Quantum, we think quantum is big. No, it's tiniest essence of creation. And finally, when we get to the smallest bit of matter that we are, they find there's nothing there. It's all energy. And that's why, again, Einstein said everything is energy. And then beautiful teachers like Joel S. Goldsmith wrote amazing books in spirituality and consciousness back in his day. And they're still more relevant today than ever before, that consciousness is everything. So how you think, what you think about, how you think, and then most of our thinking, again, is thoughts. Thoughts are memories. A thought is a belief and an emotion together, a feeling and an emotion. It's a thought. And so these thoughts are now the patterns and programs, and that's the level of consciousness. Dr. David Hawkins, MD, wrote these books on consciousness, the I, 1 and 2. First one was called Power versus Force. And within them, he had a scale of consciousness. In one of my books that I've written, that's not quite published yet because I'm fine-tuning it, it gets to consciousness, and consciousness runs everything. So what level of consciousness are you running at? Are you running at the consciousness of unhappiness or the consciousness of happiness? When we were working on that, I was helping influence your cells and your consciousness to dissolve a little bit, not all of it. We got more to go, but some of it. And there's no small healing, right? A little bit is a subtle change. A true change at a subtle level is a huge change. Remember that. So there's that little bit of loss of happiness, unhappiness that made you disconnect from your body, to not recognize it, to not have full access to your healing powers. Now we have a little boot up of consciousness. If healing doesn't raise consciousness, it's not healing. It's just symptomatic relief. You must shift the consciousness up. Now, all these people are going, oh yeah, I got to be happy. Let's dance and be happy. Well, yeah, you're just dancing with your unhappiness down here. So we're fooling ourselves. Now, should we dance? Absolutely. Should we exude more happiness? Yes. If we can connect to that higher source through us, above us, and bring it down through, then boom, it can dissolve that unhappiness. And that's what I'm doing with cellular resonance technique. I'm going up to the highest level, in this case of happiness, at the soul level. You can't even see it so high. There, that highest level up there, we'll just pretend it's here. It's highest level, there it is. And then we're feeding some of that happiness into the unhappiness, loss of happiness, fear that we'll never have, fear that we'll lose happiness. Whatever it is around that happiness, think about that in your life. Where's there been a loss of happiness? How has happiness been elusive or fearful of losing, or however you're programmed with that? We just helped influence that a little bit to raise your consciousness. So we operate at a higher level. So on the scale of Hawkins scale, he has 0 to 200 is pretty immense victim consciousness, especially between 0 and 100. Tremendously. That's just, I mean, really, really low. The average of humanity, according to his book when he wrote it, was 140. 140 on the scale, meaning about half the people were below 140, down below 100 in that severe victim consciousness, and then the other 50% were above 140, but most of them capping off at about 200, and very few being above that. When I work with the super successful people, they're usually between 200 and 300. All right, because they have enough positivity. Go get it. Boom, let's do it. It's still very egoic, very high ambition people, especially that 275, 300, very ambitious people. And I'm not going to name names, but a lot of people in our industry who are very successful and, selling courses and doing all these things are in that vibration. But then 500 is love. I train healers, doctors and healers, to vibrate up to this level of love vibration. And my top ones are above that. And then I have the other ones that are in my courses are just moving up through that. This is the ones where I train them how to do this, and then they get healed in my courses, my live courses. To do that has nothing to do with Shift per se, Shift Network, but to raise them up here, because there's a law called higher heals lower, higher vibration. When your vibration is at the top of Hawkins scale, which is 1,000, was Christ consciousness, is Christ consciousness. And so just people being around that Christ consciousness, there was this instant healing that took place.
We could go deep down a lot of rabbit holes with you, and I really appreciate how holistic you are in your approach to this. And I want to make sure we spend some time talking about how people can go deeper in your upcoming Shift program, since really unique opportunity to dive into this work, which is really at the cutting edge. So we're really excited that Dr. Doug has partnered with us to create this program for the Shift Network. It's called Cellular Resonance Quantum Healing. Break the energetic links from your past to resolve chronic illness and limiting emotional patterns. You can find it at the URL healwithcellularresonance.com, healwithcellularresonance.com. It's a 7-week program. There's no prerequisites. Dr. Doug is really going to lay the foundations in a very sequential way for you to apply this methodology in a way that really delivers results. So Dr. Doug, I'd love for you to share some of your high-level intentions for the program, what people will come away with, and then I'll read out the module titles and you give us a preview of what's coming in each.
Beautiful. Excellent. So first I'm going to say, I'm going to start where I left off before, is we're going to help you to discover a primary blocks or causes, negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, situations in your life, the core trauma that's running you in your life, that's behind your chosen health problem that you want to deal with. And you don't have to have a health problem or an obvious one to be in the course, because all of us have stress and trauma. It's just a matter of how much it's manifested into our physical reality, our bodies, our relationships, our family, our businesses, our career. You see, when you heal the core causes, everything shifts in your life. That's how you know. I worked with a man named Overton Green, wonderful man. He was a Coast Guard with really severe back pain, herniated discs, similar to me, and he couldn't take drugs on the Coast Guard boats, and they kind of bounced through the water like this. It was just miserable for him to be on that boat. He told me that he really needed help so he didn't, lose his livelihood, and he wanted to support his wife and kids. What he didn't tell me is how his life was not going well at all. And I helped him to heal the causation behind his back problem. And not only did he go back to work that week without pain and be able to do his work, as he continued the process past the symptoms, because we want to get you out of the symptoms as quickly as we can so you can be more comfortable. But we go through the deep healing process to really resolve the stress and trauma, which we did in his childhood. And he wrote me this beautiful letter after his several months of care with me. And he said, everything in my life has changed. I'm a better father. I don't yell at my kids anymore. They come to me with their problems when they didn't before. We have all this communion. It's beautiful. My wife, if I was honest with myself, our marriage she was just about done with me. He says, and now there's just so much love and connection between us. And I just feel so many miracles from being in care. And I'm so grateful and thankful that you could help me at that level, because that's what true healing does. When you go deep enough, it can trigger everything. Now, sometimes there's some very specific causes to why we don't attract the perfect husband, or why our business can't go to the next level. And we address those things. And you need to choose what you want to work on. I would say the thing that's most physical in your body is the best place to start, but it's up to you. And of course, once you do the course on that, you can just take the same material and use it to identify what might be going on with another stress or another problem in your life. So it's a beautiful course to have in your library to really do on a regular basis on each thing that's going on with you.
Right.
So we're gonna address that. So whatever that chief concern of your most is, we're gonna do that. We're gonna look for the cause, help you discover that through some different exercises and through this energy medicine work I call cellular resonance, to help unlock the blocks, the blinders, so to speak, so that you can see, feel, oh, that's what it is. Oh, got it. And then I'm going to take you through a healing process with my help to help you unlock it further so that you can truly let go of what it is that's running you in your life and hurting you.
Beautiful. So we'll have to go quickly through the modules, but I think it's important we cover some of those. So module 1 is on set powerful intentions to activate your healing potential.
Yes, absolutely. We're going to set those intentions And then what we're going to do is we're going to do some cellular resonance to unblock those intentions. Because for every intention we have, listen, if you have an intention for something to happen, let's call it, you've been doing these affirmations, right? But things haven't really changed a great deal. Why? Because there's a counter intention that's running you. So we need to clear the counter intention so your intention becomes pure. It's not until the intention is pure, it's not gonna be at the optimal level. So that's what we're gonna do module 1.
Module 2, uncover hidden trauma to empower your healing journey.
Yeah, we're going to take you through some exercises that are going to help you locate and realize what that cause is. I have many different directions to go with that. And then we're going to help you again with cellular resonance, quantum healing work that I'm going to work with the group again to help you to resolve again any blocks to getting to that cause, because some are karmic, but they're always going to show up in the present time. So in the present time, meaning this lifetime, in this life, and help you identify what those are so we can move to the next module 3.
Module 3, initiate the cellular forgiveness process for lasting freedom, steps 1 to 4.
Yeah, so we are going to go through these processes that help you to unlock. See, a lot of people say they've forgiven, but if you really forgave, why do you still have the problem? Why is there still that energy? Well, it's much better. Yeah, okay, between you and that person, but oh, you still have the physical problem, or other things aren't working or as good as they could. That's because there's still some unforgiveness in the unconscious mind. So we're going to address the unforgiveness. I should almost call it, and I do in my book, I call it the forgiveness, unforgiveness process to start unlocking what you're still holding on to. I'll give you a clue. One of them is the need to be right. The need to prove still how much they hurt you. We need to break through that one. So we're going to help you with that one and many others. So that's what we're going to do there.
Module 4, deepen your forgiveness capacity to release emotional burdens, steps 5 to 8.
Yes, absolutely. Because there's something that blocks forgiveness. And I might just keep that a secret here. But there's something that blocks forgiveness, even when we do it. And it's this other little trick that the ego mind does. It's like, I'll forgive, but, and there's this but, and we have to get through that but. And I have a process that helps us clear those buts.
Module 5, integrate forgiveness in your life to embrace your shadow and align with your true self, steps 9 to 10.
Yeah, we're going to go into a deeper level through these processes. And in these processes, the word forgiveness really is not even in them, but they are. See, cellular resonance, this pulse of creation, is unconditional love and forgiveness in and of itself. Forgiveness means to let go, of letting go-ness. It's an energy that lets us release and let go. And so we're going to go deeper into that helps us to more deeply let go and reconnect with our true source of healing and true source of power within us.
Module 6, embody love and gratitude to complete your forgiveness journey, steps 11 to 12.
Right, which then takes us into the unconditional love process to get more unconditional love into ourselves, into our body. You see, the mind is not capable of love, let alone unconditional love. That's why we say we love someone, or they say they love us, and then tick tock in time, I don't love you anymore, or they cheat, or they do this thing or that thing, or yell and scream not loving things to us or with us, or we do those things, or both. Why does that happen? Because we haven't connected to the true source of love, which comes from above, down, inside, and then out. So we're going to be doing some deeper processing to embody these deeper levels of the love of your own soul, to have more soul presence, which will then take you into that higher consciousness I was talking about before, so that you operate at a higher level of consciousness that keeps you from ever going back into these patterns and in this ever-growing consciousness towards love and joy. And as Dr. Hawkins said in his scale, enlightenment, to be fully enlightened, to lighten your load, which is basically letting go of all the fear, negativity, self-hatred, whatever's blocking us from our divine presence.
Beautiful. What a great module. And then we culminate with module 7, celebrate your healing journey and set intentions for the future.
Right. So there we're going to start setting intentions for the next things we want to create in our life. Once we've done a lot of healing on these things, what's the next step? And we'll do some unblocking so we can start bringing this deeper into other aspects of our life directly, and obviously be celebrating our wins with each other, and it'll just be a really great party online as we unlock and uncover and heal more.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
What a great program. And really, you're doing such a great job of synthesizing at the cutting edge and really laying out a foundation for how energy medicine can just rapidly change our lives. So again, the whole program is laid out in detail at healwithcellularresonance.com. You'll get not only the 7 90-minute live sessions with Doug, which includes the time to ask your questions live. You'll also get recordings of every session with video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. Some of these exercises you'll be able to do at home, and you can keep working with them over time. There'll also be a Facebook community to support you and deepen your experience and build community around the work. And on the page, there's a number of extra bonuses that are designed to enhance your journey. There's a You Have the Power. This is a PDF excerpt from the Resonance Effect book, Unlock Profound Healing via Quantum Forgiveness and Soul Activation by Dr. Doug. There's also a 9-part video series teaching from Dr. Doug on muscle testing video series, particularly important for this methodology. You want to share a little bit more about that bonus?
Yes. We all know that diet, what we eat and put into our body, is so important, right? And then we go to nutritionists, and everybody has their idea of what's healthy, what's not healthy. What about listening to your own body and it knowing what to do? So I'm going to teach some various self-testing methods that you can do so that you can ask the right questions. Number one, ask the right question of your body, receive an answer if that food is going to be healthy for you, or if it's something it doesn't want. And it may want it today and it may not want it tomorrow. So we need to listen to our bodies. So it's very much to help us to listen to our bodies more and know what to put in our body. We can even self-test those things doctors give us or want to give us as well with the same questions. It's very revealing, very revealing.
That's just one extra bonus, a great 9-part video series. And then there's also one special video teaching that Dr. Doug has done especially for this Shift program. It's all on quantum forgiveness. And you get this if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time as our special thank you for people who register right away. Dr. Doug, you want to share a little bit about the quantum forgiveness teaching?
Yes, I'm going to go through 13 aspects of the quantum forgiveness process and talk about how it really works. Because again, a lot of people say they've forgiven, but we have to forgive at the cell to soul levels. So it's going to explain that more. It's going to go into prioritizing forgiveness, because a lot of people say they've forgiven, but you do the right forgiveness process. That's right. You might only need one, and you miss the one that you need to do that's going to change your life. And they need to be done in the right order.
Well, that's a great extra reason to sign up right away. So quantum forgiveness is your special bonus for signing up today.
Yeah.
So we've kept the investment for this program very accessible given the value. It's just 3 payments of $128. You save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The courses can begin November 12th and run Tuesdays at 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern. But even if you can't make the live times, you can still get the full value with the recordings, transcripts, and the community as well. And on the page at Heal with Cellular Resonance.com, you're also going to see a lot of testimonials from people who have had remarkable healings with this methodology. Really great stuff. So Dr. Doug has got a proven track record, a really groundbreaking method, and I think you're really just going to experience a lot of benefits if you choose to move forward. So again, it's all at healwithcellularresonance.com, and you'll get that special bonus on quantum forgiveness if you sign up today. Well, Dr. Doug, fascinating hour. Thank you for this time and your wisdom and what you've created. And anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering going and doing the full program with you.
Uh, Other than saying it's going to be an amazing program, which you've already stated, it will be. It will be life-changing. Just the awarenesses that you will get from the program about yourself, and the insights that will spontaneously occur through this soul connection program, because it's really about reconnecting with the deeper aspects of who you truly are, that has all the answers, that has the love, that has the inner peace. We just need to reconnect to it, and it'll be a marvelous journey that will be a lifelong change for you in your life. And then I believe people will have the program to listen to more as much as they want, correct, Stephen?
Yep, indeed. You can add it to your
Because
transformational
because
library for years to
yeah,
come.
because they'll have all those recordings, and they can go through these exercises with things that may come up in life, because things do come up in life. We live in a stressful world, and there are things that happen like tornadoes and hurricanes and deaths of family members and pets and all those things that have an effect on us. And this process will help with all of those things to deal better. Best to be as healed as possible before then those things become less traumatizing, if at all, because we have a deeper connection, the deeper connection to source within us that we have, the more we can move through life with joy, with ease, with the beauty and reverence and resilience that we truly are at the deepest level.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Dr. Doug, for your time, your wisdom. Thank you all for joining. And if you've called to go forward, you're welcome to do so. And you're going to get a lot of benefit at healwithcellularresonance.com. You'll get that quantum forgiveness bonus if you choose to do so today. So thank you so much. Many blessings.
So, many blessings.